one group saying that, it's your fault.
Hi, welcome back. This is The Big Issue, 97.3 City FM, ChannelOne Television. We are on channel 363 on DSTV and on our YouTube channels as well. We just gone back to the discussion on the WASI and the results and education generally, what we can do to improve the system, etc. Now we move to the issue about the OSP. The Office of the Special Prosecutor has come under heavy criticism this week, and in fact, major newspapers this week or today are reporting, for example, Daily Guide says scrap Office of Special Prosecutor, Majority Leader in Parliament. There was a discussion on this in Parliament this week. Daily Graphic of today says Speaker, MPs unanimously agree to abolish OSP. What really should be the case? Should we strengthen the office or we should abolish it? What does that portend for our fight on anti-corruption? Why should we scrap it instead of strengthening it? Is it that the people are not happy with the special prosecutor because he's doing his job, he's making corruption unattractive, or what's the matter? Or his personality is what is not helping? But it's his personality assisting the fight against corruption. A lot has been said about how he has handled so far the Oforiatta matter, the investigations on SML, etc. he's doing around Oforiatta, and why he sat for Oforiatta to, quote-unquote, run away from the country. What has become of all of these? He's now filed charges in court. People think he's being slow. People think he's not doing anything and that he is wasting money. Indeed, one of the matters that came up in Parliament this week is that his allocation is too huge for the kind of work he's doing. That has to be reduced or the office scrapped because, after all, the office is unconstitutional, as is being argued by many people, because Article 88 places prosecutorial powers in the Attorney General. And indeed, the law of the Special Prosecutor itself bears testimony to that fact. When you look at the long title of the Act, Act 959, it says an act to establish the office of the Special Prosecutor as a specialized agency to investigate specific cases of alleged or suspected corruption and corruption-related offences involving public officers and politically exposed persons in the performance of their functions, as well as persons in the private sector involved in the commission of alleged or suspected corruption and corruption-related cases or offences, prosecute these offences on the authority of the Attorney General and provide for related matters. So it means that that office really cannot be doing the things it says it's doing. That's the argument of many people. And that it is tied to the Attorney General. And that is unconstitutional in the way the office is being operated now. That is the discussion. And this week, the office arrested and detained Martin Kpebu, who said he has allegations of corruption against Kisi Jabin. That heightened the discussions on the relevance of the office, etc. Martin Kpebu was subsequently released after hours in detention, and he's supposed to report there again. Martin says that he wanted an independent body to investigate the matters he has. He will not make subordinates of the Special Prosecutor to investigate the matters because they cannot really investigate their boss. That's his point. And so that's where we are now. To help us do the discussion, of course, Kojo Asante of CDD is still with us. We'll be joined by Inusa Fuseni, former minister, former MP on the NDC ticket. Enoch is here, and Franklin Kojo and Martin Kpebu himself will join us briefly. Let me take you to Parliament. Now, the majority in Parliament is calling for the abolition of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, insisting that the Attorney General's office should be empowered as a sole institution responsible for investigating and prosecuting corruption cases. Addressing Parliament, Majority Leader Mahama Yariga questioned the rationale behind under-resourcing the Attorney General while allocating substantial funds to the OSP, which he argued has failed to meet expectations. Let's hear from some members of Parliament.
Speaker, we are saying that the Office of the Special Prosecutor has abused its powers in this matter. And I will not hesitate. I will not hesitate to say that this house, we created the office. And the office of the Special Prosecutor, if he continues to abuse his powers, then we may have to abrogate it. This house, we shall be inviting him to come and brief the house the circumstances under which he will detain a citizen under such whimsical circumstances.
I believe that it is high time that this Parliament reconsiders its decision to approve the establishment of the Office of Special Prosecutor. I think that we should abolish it. I honestly think we should abolish it because we've experimented it and we cannot see any achievement. Major cases of clear corruption. Up to date, the office has not been able to do anything. So it cannot do anything.
Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, like we say in Twi, etua unyonku mua, etua diem, etua uhumu dia, etua nipem. To wait, Mr. Speaker, when it happens to somebody and he's complaining about it, you see absolutely nothing wrong with it. When it happens to you, now you complain. They will detain you and put onerous bills, whip you, whisk you away, unknown destination. Then your lawyers, everybody looking for you. We've had clients at our firm we are chasing all over town. When you say it, because it has not happened to them, they don't complain. That's why our elders say, today, because it has happened on their side, they are complaining.
And we cannot continue to allocate that huge sums to the same office when we are not getting the results. This is one of the agencies we should be looking at. It's getting almost the same amount like the Attorney General's Department. Please, let's face the bull by the horns and make sure that the right thing.
All right, you're welcome back. That was Parliament this week. Almost everybody saying the same thing. Office of the Special Prosecutor, as we say, local parlance, OSP Abre, everybody is saying one thing or the other. But what do you think? You think the office is outlived its usefulness? The office is not doing its work? The office should be scrapped? Or you think the office should remain? The person occupying the office has a problem? That's he. Should he remain there? There are petitions we hear around his removal. What should we do? I started with Kojo. Kojo, good morning once again. Welcome to the program. These discussions on the Office of the Special Prosecutor, they have reached a certain height now. I wonder where they have come from all of a sudden. Of course, there were discussions when the office was being established. But in the past week or two, I mean, almost everybody's singing from the same book that we should scrap the office. And you saw the remarks from Parliament that allocations to the office too huge for the job it's doing, is not delivered, etc. You have been working in that space. Talk to me. Has the Office of the Special Prosecutor delivered? Is it achieving the reason why we set it up?
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. First of all, it's only politicians who want the office to be scrapped, predominantly. And it's for a good reason why they, or I wouldn't say it's a good reason, but we know what their motivations are. I mean, let me just deal with the constitutionality issue because it's been banded around over and over and over again. And I don't think the fact that you repeat things that for me are not founded in law means that they are right. The Article 88(4) is very clear that the Attorney General can delegate his powers of prosecution. It's on those bases that IOCO prosecutes, NACOP prosecutes, many other different agencies prosecute. And it is on the same basis on which the OSP law was founded. And it clearly recognizes the AG's power to delegate. And it's for that reason that the law that was laid in Parliament was laid by the Attorney General. And it even makes the nomination of the OSP by the Attorney General. So when consistently people say, well, the AG, it's the AG's powers, it can't delegate it, and so on and so forth, it's not true. It's incorrect, and we've had this debate over and over and over again. Just for me, I just want to put that, that in the proper context. We need a bit of history. We've had this discussion over the independence of the Attorney General, or the power to prosecute. It's been a debate that started, when we even first did the APRM. It was one of the recommendations. Why? Because the Attorney General is both the Minister for Justice. He's also government's primary legal advisor, and then he discharges the supposedly independent function of determining prosecutions and stopping prosecutions. And over the years, particularly with the prosecution of members of a sitting government, people have felt very strongly that it's very difficult for the Attorney General that sits in cabinet with his colleagues, part of the party, and so on and so forth, to do his job, because when you have to go after your colleague that you were engaged with, and so on and so forth, it's difficult. So if you look over the years, our anti-corruption efforts is being post-regime accountability, and it's happening currently now, right? I think the only example that you have are two, Malamisa in the first regime of President Kufuor,
and then
Abuga Pele. So we've only able, the Attorney General is only able to pursue these things when it is against the
other side
government, or a government that's left power. So the call for an independent public prosecutor has been going on for a long time. And in the first National Anti-Corruption Action Plan, which I was part of the drafting committee, that was one of the strategies that was determined. Under NDC, the proposal was to basically convert the DPP role into an independent public prosecutor. And then the MPP thought that, no, they thought you needed to create a separate office away from the AG to handle anti-corruption issues. And even though that ideally it should be set out in the Constitution during a Constitution review process, you could have a stopgap measure where you set it out now and later on you can convert it. And that's why they went by Article 88.4. And we were part of the legislation. And there's a lot of things that were done, mindful of all the experiences we've had around setting up, these agencies. So you will realize that apart from the OSP law, where there is actually a requirement for public reporting every 6 months, providing details of cases that are ongoing. All of the other agencies don't do that. If they would do that, it's at their own discretion. But this was a requirement by law. There are provisions that were made to set up a board that has all the other agencies on the board to engage the OSP so that they could even be referrals. So that's how the board is set up. So there's a lot of work that went into it. based on our own experience. And then, of course, we had Mr. Martin Amidu, who was the first special prosecutor, was appointed from about 2018 onwards. You remember he basically operated from a house in Laboni, you know, for 2 or 3 years, you know, and there were issues about funding for the office, looking for a permanent office and all of that. And that didn't work out. He resigned. And then when Kisi Ejabin was appointed, it was almost up to 2022 that the office got the first budget, you know, substantial budget. Remember that this is a new institution that is trying to build a specialized anti-corruption agencies to handle politically exposed persons, corruption. These are some of the most powerful people in the world, in the country, who you have to take on with their lawyers and all of the powers that they have within the country. So, I mean, setting up an institution like that is not easy. It took most of 2023 to even set it up, and still there's a lot of work going, because the OSP has police powers. You have to create a cell, you have to have, you know, interrogation rooms, you need to create an intelligence lab, you know, all of those things. Even Mr. Amidu, at the beginning, when the OSP was relying a lot on secondments from the police and so on, they had issues with leakages, and so that he even caused the arrest of police officers that had been seconded to him and all of that. So creating a trust system, creating you know, officers that you can rely on, that will keep you know, the oath of secrecy and all of that, and avoid leakages, and it's a lot. So in reality, OSP operation began in 2024. And even in 2024, at that time, the OSP and the sitting government were, you know, clashing consistently. There were challenges with the judiciary as well, because the judiciary is now learning how to engage a new institution like the OSP and trying to understand the legislation that empowers the OSP, its scope, and all of those things. So there are a lot of teething problems that a new institution has to go through. But in spite of all of that, even in terms of just creating the office, setting up the office, taking on cases and trying to prosecute cases, the OSP has done a very good job, in spite of all of the constant effort to undermine it, the constant effort to abolish it. There's court cases that have attempted to go question the constitutionality of the office. He's had petitions, you know, and a lot of the petitions and issues that have gone on the OSP, even issues about recruitment and all kinds of things that eventually, you know, there was not even a prima facie case established, right? So it has, since this office has been established, constant barrage, constant harassment, constant effort to undermine it. And it's obvious to me, and I say it without any equivocation, that it is clear the political class do not want the idea of an independent public prosecutor, because people want to control who, you know, who you prosecute, who you don't prosecute, and all of those things. And if we are going to tackle corruption and offer restraint on this type of impunity that it is endangering our democracy, we need offices like this. I mean, it is not, you know, so it, for me, incredulous to hear the majority leader, to hear members of the sitting government dare say that we should abolish this office, when the same government is making the case that, you know, we need to address corruption, we need to hold people accountable. And if you have an office that you are supporting, that allows you to take on even members of your government, because sometimes it's the best way to handle that. If it is with your Attorney General, party people might interfere, but if it's with the OSP, you can have a certain distance from that, so that it's up to the person if they want to get into those things. Now, this trigger with Martin's case and so on and so forth, again, it's the hypocrisy of it that really worries me. What the gentleman at Democracy Hub, John Wendell, whatever, Joseph or something, who claimed that some sitting members of the government were involved in Galamsey. Wasn't he arrested by the police and detained? I think he was still in jail. If I don't know. But has anybody in Parliament raised any issue of abuse of power and asked for the police to be defunded or abolished? I have a huge issue with criminalizing speech, and I've made this very clear to the OSP that for me, that approach to was really bad. All you have to say is that you have an open door policy. If somebody says they have corruption allegations against you, they can go to they can go to Yoko, they can go to Attorney General. Actually, Attorney General is even better to go and make the case. There's no need for you to pursue the case. Yes, fine. If they have allegations against you, and you want to know what it is so that you can investigate it, but don't. I think it was a wrong move to do that, and it was completely unnecessary. It's a distraction for me. It's a distraction. But I'm saying that all the issues that abuse, people saying, oh, they've had all this money, they are setting up a new office. How do you expect the place to be resourced? They don't have the facilities of Yoko that's been around for all these years, or the police, or FIC, or any of these agencies. And so why are you looking at this? If it's the question about value for money, we can raise questions about any of the frontline agencies. So let's deal with the real issue.
Very well.
What is the problem with why the political class are insisting that they don't want an independent public prosecutor? And I don't think that they should have their way.
Very well.
I really think that it's important for us to have this office, equip it, strengthen it, and you look around the world, now that you even think about issues of state capture and really sophisticated ways of corruption, for the sake of the state, you need an agency like this.
Very well. Great. Let me come to you, Afoakwa, quickly. Is it the office or the person in the office that is raising the issue in your view?
Yeah. I must say that with celestial respect to persons with differing opinions on the establishment of the office of the Special Prosecutor, proposing that the office be abolished, I disagree with them. Selorm, we have had democracy for so many years now. There are persons in this country who are saying that democracy has not been of help to the development of this country. There are people who believe in military juntas and military regimes that, based on our cultural underpinnings and our standing, we should go for autocracy rather than democracy. Is it the case that, should those voices be loud, we terminate democracy at that stage and go for the alternative? Certainly. Every institution needs reforms. That will strengthen that institution to be able to deliver on its core mandate. We have witnessed some of the brutal defiances of the OSP with regards to human rights violations, even in the person on Kenoforiata and Adet. Let us senior Martin Kpebu, what he went through, it was extra, let me say it was ultra-virus conduct of the OSP, because his mandate is defined under Section 3, which states that the OSP was established primarily to investigate corruption and corruption-related offenses. These are the clear mandates established under law. Granted that under Section 28 you have been given the powers of the police does not mean that you go bonkers, you extend your tentacles like the octopus, seeking to grab everything that comes your way. your role is defined under Section 3. Functions of the OSP states that you are there to investigate corruption and corruption-related offences. That is the purpose on which you were granted the powers of the police to arrest, to seize, to investigate, to detain, to prosecute, and to do all those manner of things in respect of the 2 core functions. If he insults, if he abuses, if he fights, it's not your business. You only call in the Ghana Police Service and transfer because they have the jurisdiction to entertain those mandates. So if he acts on that mandate, then certainly there are procedural propriety that you can run the OSP on, pursuant to Article 146, where under Section 15 of the OSP Act, Act 959, you can petition the President on stated misbehavior for the removal of the OSP if you think that you have grounds that can succeed. A prima facie matter that will cause the Chief Justice to set up a committee prescribed under Section 15 to pursue investigation in that matter to cause the removal of the OSP in that regard. So certainly, once we have considered certain procedures to be able to, as it were, strengthen the institution, it does not call that once there are some mistakes, it does not cause that, or once we've seen that we have not realized the intended purpose for the establishment of the OSP in terms of convictions or in terms of the pursuance of corruption and corruption-related matters, that often be scrapped. Then we are not being charitable to the nation called Ghana.
Very well.
There are well-meaning persons in this country that we think, if we think that the person there is not performing his mandate properly, there are other persons who can equally do the same work. Selorm.
Our brother has offered. But it says not now.
You see, there is one thing that once he's here, he will bring it out, and we also have our bite on it. On the corruption allegation that he's alleged to have made against the OSP. And granted that...
So he will deal with that.
Yes, so granted that he was also asking from the news that he wants an independent body. I believe that the proper procedure that Leonard Senior could have used was to trigger Section 15 of the OSP's own act, Establishment Act, Act 959, and pursuant to Article 146 of the Constitution to be able to ensure that what he was asking.
Educate viewers on
yes, Section 15 requires that a person seeking the removal of the OSP, of the SP, on stated misbehavior or of his malfunction as a result of infirmity of the mind or body. It's almost like removal of a justice of the Superior Court or a removal of the Chief Justice, willful violation of his oath of office and those kind of things. Can petition the President. And once the President receives that petition, the President forwards same to the Leonard Chief Justice, who
like 146,
who goes through the petition. And once a prima facie case is established, the Chief Justice is required to establish a committee made up of the chairperson being the Supreme Court judge, or then a lawyer with not less than 15 years standing at the bar, and some other experts within that field to be able to form the committee to investigate the allegations that has been made against the OSP. And if a recommendation is made, the President is enjoined to go by the recommendation of the committee in like manner like what it's under Article 146 and the like.
Very well.
So
let me yes.
If I may land here. So if I believe Leonard Senior had something cogent, stronger, that can cause the removal of Mr. Kissie Ejaben or any of the officers there that requires the provision of Article Section 15 and Article 146. Clearly, he knows what to do by invoking those provisions to be able to ensure that what he has, the Ghanaian people also have a feel of what he has and be able to court the strengthening of our democratic ideals and principles for the purpose and manner in which the Act prescribes.
Very well. Senor, the office of the Special Prosecutor, the office of the Special Prosecutor, a lot has been said about that office. But given the recent discussions, you think that the office must be scrapped, as we saw in the clip, the MPs and Speaker thinking, or it's a person in the office that has an issue we have to deal with?
Okay, I would step back just for 30 seconds on our education matter. The IGs, which most of our elite politicians take their children to, those international schools, the Cambridge system, they actually send their exam papers sometimes about a month before.
Yeah, I think Kofi said.
No, but we didn't say it on air. And they have had a system to maintain integrity. We've not had that kind of problem.
Very well.
I think that the GES and the Ghana the Ministry of Education should engage the likes of GIS, work with them and see if there are learnings from there that we
That
can
they can
bring.
use. Great.
Yes, so which it is possible. What we are having now with this integrity problem is a bad problem.
Very
It comes back into the OSP matter. The fundamental integrity problem with the Ghanaian is what has actually led to this situation in which we find ourselves. We can't even trust ourselves. And because really speaking, what you don't measure, you can't manage. Our politicians have had the mandate through policy, which is law, to exercise the authority of accountability. But we've seen corruption. And the way our corruption is even defined needs you to have a public mandate. That means that the same person who is supposed to manage the situation and protect the people is now being made the same policeman. It won't work. We all came to that consensus. This special prosecutor thing did not just come out of the sky. It is advocacy from all of us, which the NPP government coming into 2016 listened to and added to their manifesto. You understand? I don't think Nanado just wanted to do it. The NPP did not just want to do it, but when they were coming into office, they needed the consent and the support of all of us. Many of us were engaged, all right, and our thoughts CDD did a lot of work on that. Samson Ladi and Co did a lot of work on that. And we've sort of forced the hands of government to do it. Just like we do the right to information bill. Look how long that thing really took. You have to take a lot of civil society pressure for us to have this. There's a policy reason for it. The policy object is to create a potent, politically independent, anti-corruption law enforcement agency. So it can hold politicians to account because they are led with the foremost mandate to drive and enforce policy and protect the public purse. That value can't be lost on anybody. There's always going to be a limit to which a political appointee would be able to enforce it. Trust me, we have one of the finest AGs we could wish for right now. When you look at how Dominic Ayini tactically prosecutes his issues, you must commend it. He does not just come out and shout, but he's a politician, subject to the directives of a president who could still be a subject of a corruption case. That is why we needed to have somebody who is independent. The question is whether it should be an OSP or not. I must be very categorical. I don't care the semantics. That policy value cannot be lost on us as a people. Our democracy has lost confidence with many people. Confidence in it is heading down, largely because of corruption. If we do not maintain being seen and actually executing a true anti-corruption agenda, democracy itself will fail and fall. And we are playing with these things, but we are actually on the brink. So we have an OSP today. How effective is it? That's a different conversation. Let's separate the effectiveness of the institution by the actors as is today from the policy value of having that kind of institution. If you tell me you want to scrap the OSP today, my question is, what are you replacing it with? Because we cannot scrap the policy object. But you can change the institution tomorrow. We can tomorrow say we are making the DPP fully independent. Come up with a more potent way of having it exercise its powers, making it have secure its budget. I don't mind. You understand? But that policy value must not be lost on us. We can take the OSP as is today and reform it. If there are legal challenges with it, legitimize it. But this conversation that goes left and right, as if the whole object is, no, we don't want to have anybody controlling what we politicians want to do or not to do. Policy has only one house. It is politics. Policy has an object with an ultimate goal being the people. The people have spoken. We need accountability. We need independent accountability. So we will not allow, and Parliament should hear very loud and clear, we will not allow any politician to vary that policy intent today or tomorrow And those who want to write on the name of Martin Kpebu to do it, forget it. Martin is not against the policy intent. We just have to get it right. And that is the conversation we should be having. That's the conversation Parliament should be having. How do we make sure that what we sought to achieve with this thing is really achieved? If you think there are problems with what we have today, should there be more accountability on the part of the OSP? Should there be a review, an independent review body that looks at his technical function? Discuss something like that. Don't come and stand here and tell that we are cancelling the office because of what? Because some of you were subject of his investigations? Or because you are scared that tomorrow you could be a subject of the investigation? We cannot accept that. So please get it loud and clear. The vote today, we didn't get some, but the people, we can amass them.
Very well. Great.
We have to protect the state.
Great. Now, Martin, of course, Martin has been in the news this week, and Adam Sananu is also online. So Martin, what really is your issue with the OSP? Is it the OSP or the SP? Just for starters.
For now, it's the SP. When it comes to the OSP, that's the office. Like so said, we need to improve it. That would be law reform. So it's a separate matter. So even me, this MP side saying that they say if this how he will continue abusing the office. They say if. And so I understand they will call him in to see what's the problem. Because Kisejabi is clearly now using the OSP, the OSP as the office for his personal vendetta against me. Because I said he's corrupt and I'm ready to prove it. He just can't handle it. And so he thinks he should just go after me, which is so childish. It's childish.
But what happened?
If you think that...
You went there on Wednesday and you were detained. We did interviews here and there. And then we were released around 10 p.m. thereabout. What happened? You went to the place, they said you were arrested, or before that there was an interview, you granted a media house. They didn't find that pleasant, or they thought it wasn't supposed to be. What really happened?
So short. Maybe I'll start with the PIF and then go step by step briefly. So when I returned from the interview, I walked into the OSP yard. When I walked past the security post, so maybe about, let's say 3 meters or 4, then I heard somebody say, you. So I turned, and it was a soldier who had emerged from the security post because I had just gone past it. He wasn't standing there. It was a policeman, the one who came and sacked us from the interview, and I'll soon show. He was the one I saw. I bypassed him, and then about 3 meters down, after the security post, I heard you. So I turned. Then the soldier said, I allowed you to park in the yard, and then you went to do an interview. Next time, I will not allow you. So I also shot back that, on what basis? What right do you have to curtail my right to go and do an interview? The media is the fourth estate of the realm. It didn't start today. That phrase is over 150 years old. The British MP who coined it, the fourth estate. So I said, no, you don't even understand. You can check what Jefferson talks about, says about strong media for a good nation. I didn't add this, but I'm just putting it in context. So he left me. That soldier didn't say anything. So I continued walking. Another 2 or 3 steps. Then I heard, ask for me, then I turned. And so that was the second soldier who now said, and I say first soldier, second, because they refuse to wear name tags. They refuse to wear name tags. So you can't know. Meanwhile, the policeman, his name tag was there, AJ. It's AJ, but the soldiers weren't wearing. So the first one is tall, the second one is short. So the second one now pointed his hands like this. As for me, next time you come and do that, I will show you. See, soldier, in a very menacing manner, I will show you. So I shot back again. Maybe he doesn't know I'm a lawyer. I don't know why he thinks he could intimidate me. So I said, what power do you have? Or maybe if he thinks we are still in a military regime, what power do you have? What can you do? I'm sure he couldn't handle that. Then, he now said,
after you asked him, he left. Okay, he said you were a stupid guy.
Yes, and that's why. So I also replied that he's also stupid. Because what have I done? I've not breached any rules. Now, there's Sami Daku is all over. He's trying to rationalize. Selorm, and I'm sure even we don't need a lawyer right now. I'm sure this all of us understand. Retroactivity. If you think it's your rules that when you enter a yard, you can't go out and do an interview, put it on the wall, make a signboard. So as soon as you enter, protocols when you are in this yard. So you make the rule before, assuming it will constitutionally stand. But the principle is that let the rule. So you see, when President Mahama signs a law, when Parliament passes it, and President Mahama signs, or any other president, it is not law. You and I know, under Article 106, until they take it to Assembly Press and publish it. So it's only when citizens can access the law that it becomes law. So if it stays on the president's desk, even if it's signed, once you cannot go to Assembly Press near Accra Technical University to buy it, it is not law. So as a lawyer, that's how I work. So you can't wait for me to finish granting an interview and come back and you tell me next time this. We will not accept that. How? Put it before. So at the time I was packing, so put it at several places. Because if you go and hide it somewhere and I don't see, bad. So put it at vantage points.
Good.
So that's what happened. So the man said I'm stupid. I also said he's stupid. Then one of my lawyers came and grabbed me. And then we went upstairs. Even before upstairs, I sought to report. Can you believe that OSP, you want to make a complaint? For 15 minutes, they couldn't make available the assistant for me to make a complaint against the soldiers. So when we went upstairs to meet the team, then we now made it clear to the team. When I see the team, they still paraded Mr. Abraham Ablomesa. He's the chief of staff of OSP. And then lawyer Albert Paddington. They were the people we were to meet. They were the people we met last week and broke down our objection into fine form for them to understand. Our objection is that, look, Ablomesa, you are chief of staff, but that means Kisi Ejabi is your boss. Lawyer Paddington, you are a lawyer. He has an official title, I don't know it. But whatever it is, you are not the head. So you can't investigate your boss. You say, come, Kpebu, come and give me information so that we will do our investigations, neutral fact finding. We said, no, that's your boss. You can't handle this. So we broke it down that maybe the board. And the reason we said the board is that, you see, naturally, if you bring the board, we'll come and tell Ghanaians. We'll ask the board members, what are your names? And Selorm, if I came here and told you, this board member, that board member, you know how our society is very strong. People know, everybody knows. So if you found out that the board members we are giving our information to, maybe that board member brought 4 people to Kisi Ejabi to employ, there are a lot of procurement breaches will come there. You have no idea. When you see me saying Kisi must go, it's not just because he allowed Oforiatta to go. That was just the icing on the cake. So many things wrong. It runs the institution like it's in his pocket. So the reason we said we wanted to deal with the board is that we know that, yes, the board generally is supposed to be independent, but we also know how some board members lose their independence because they're always looking for something from the chief executive. So if we brought their names out and people showed us how they brought nephews and nieces, we'll go back and say, no, disqualify this board member, etc. But I didn't get it. They are saying we should give to chief of staff and a lawyer. And we said, no, that's your boss. You can't investigate him. This one to be matter. So then, the time we repeated.
So that was the second time you were meeting them?
The second time we repeated it, that's when we told them. So when we went last Wednesday, the same Ablomesa and lawyer Paddington. So we said, how? So we are not going to give it. So case closed, we are going away. Then it appears that they had already hatched the plan that they would then arrest me for the incident that took place more than an hour ago. Come on, a soldier abuses a citizen, a soldier who is supposed to act with decorum, unprovoked. Remember, Selorm, I was walking, he called, asked for me, and I had to turn. And he was wagging his hand. Wagging. Next time, I will show you, soldier. You know, soldier, that thing that, like the way they say military, they will discipline you. Please, that discipline is past. It's rule of law. We've gone past that, will discipline you. You have no power to discipline. Follow the law.
But that's not discipline, that's abuse.
That's why, and some of our citizens believe it. Oh, soldiers said they will discipline.
What discipline? That's abuse.
Yes. So Martin, so eventually you got into the room, you raised objections.
Yes.
What happened?
So after the objection, they said Ablomesa would often go out. I'm going to consult. He came back about 15 minutes later. After we had said so, we are not giving the information out because they are subordinates. And brought a certain officer in Mufti. I don't know whether he's a police officer or this OSP officer. And said they had brought him to arrest me for the incident that took place over an hour ago. That's obstruction. So as soon as I heard it, I mean, I know that, yes, some people can't take criticism, so they want to abuse their power. So
they want to arrest you for the incident that happened there?
So quickly, my lawyers shot back. How? So I just said, no, let's stop quickly. You know why? Because you see, practically, it's about trying to get out, because in that building on the 5th floor, if you don't cooperate, they won't let you out. And also, I've been coming to TV. I know how Ghanaians watch us. So I know that if you make a wrong move, citizens will not forgive me. So do the best possible. So quickly, I told my lawyers, don't argue. Yeah, let him come and arrest me. You know how the arrest is done. He'll come and touch you on the shoulder. I'm arresting you for this offense. You may say something but if you don't, I mean, you are not obliged to say anything.
Miranda rights.
Yes, perfect. But if you say so, it will be taken down. So he did it quickly, 1 minute. And then, so they said they have the statement forms. I said, bring them. Caution statement. They wrote it. And quickly, I started writing. Hey, send 10 so that I can ask for bail. So I finished quickly, maybe after 10 minutes or something. Then we asked for bail. Then once again, Abraham Ablomensa, Chief of Staff, left the room.
You were questioned on what?
And that for obstructing.
Obstructing.
An officer. And look, me walking like this, an officer called my back. It's not like
your spirit, just your spirit. Your spirit was
obstructing him. It's not like he's in front, he's arresting somebody and I came to disrupt him, or he's writing and I'm engaging. No. He abused me like this, so fine. We'll see whether they can prosecute. I'm waiting, I can't wait. We should go to court. Let them go and show. Selorm, do you have the OSP Act here? You just see section 79. Yes. Open and see. Whether you see, they are saying they are using section 69(3). And I'm happy, my good friend, what's the name again? Enoch. He said, listen, 15. They have no authority. Go to section 79 and see whether OSP can prosecute for a breach of section 69, subsection 3. It's not part of their mandate.
79 is the interpretation section.
Yes, and but you see, corruption, the meaning of corruption and corruption related, 79 are the
yes.
You see the offenses listed.
Yeah.
Breach of 69.
So I got confused a bit because at the point, I think Amadiba came on TV3 and he said that it was the Ghana police that was arresting you and not the OSP.
No, but it's OSP office. Why? It's Ghana police. I told the public that they set up a unit of Ghana police there. The officer who came, that says and then straight. As I said, at that time, you see, as a lawyer, in the circumstances, it's not everything you argue. You have to pick your fights well. Because all I know is that, if I write my statement, I can get bail. Usually, writing the statement is not compulsory. But if you don't write it, it's like they feel frustrated, and so they can also frustrate you. So at that time, I was not in the mood to argue. I told my lawyer, stop.
You cooperated well.
So like Amalba say, if they say Ghana police, they haven't had them. What's his rank? All I was told was that this is Evans Opoku. Evans Opoku, he didn't show, like I told you, if it's CID, then bring out your card, let me see. You haven't shown me any card. So Evans Opoku arrested me, and then when we're done, they took me so then we did the statement after to grant me bail. Abraham Ablomensa went out for over 30 minutes, came back and said, yes, bail granted, but the condition is that I should bring a landed property in my name. Bring a landed property. So
just hold on with the landed property. Let me talk to Senan who has to work on your microphone. So Adam Senan is an anti-corruption crusader. We have 10 extra minutes to wrap this up. Thankfully, producers secured that for us. So Adam, good to have you on the show. I know you guys, everybody, we've all been working on this to strengthen our anti-corruption institutions, etc. But in the past week, it does appear that the OSP or the office has come under pressure. That pressure was mounting before this week's unfortunate incident with Martin came up, which had given that some impetus. Where do you stand on the matter? The office itself, its occupants, and Martin's matter in just 2 minutes.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. Some of us, together with Martin, we just left TV3. Abolish or reform, is it the institution or the person? I'll say none of the above. I think review and strengthen the OSP is where I'll go. And I think that the arguments for why this institution is so critical have been so well made historically that we cannot have any other option but to understand that it's a key institution that has something to offer. And so the thinking even in crafting Act 959 ensure that potential overlaps were dealt with and that this office will really look at politically exposed persons. And so if you're a politically exposed person,
sorry, go ahead.
Saying that we should, if we have politically exposed persons saying we should scrap it, we need to be very cautious. I think there was I think that in the last few weeks, and it's an institution that is being built. So processes, I find value in Martin's engagement to the extent of legal and administrative practices and procedures that may need to be deepened so we have clarity. For example, when he just talked about if you don't want people to come in and go out, make sure that you have it up there. I think that there's value in that kind of discussion. I also think that this discussion probably will be made much better if we have both parties there, because Martin is telling his side of it. From a natural justice perspective, what exactly transpired and how they were thinking when this arrest was done by the police, you may need the other parties also to speak so that we can draw the right conclusions. Overall, I don't think Ghana benefits if we have these individuals fighting. It seems to me that we need to create a space for some dialogue around what has transpired and what we can do better moving forward. I found the comments in Parliament disconcerting because they are politically exposed persons and because of the debate, some of them, the positions they took when they were passing this law. The majority of them, except for Honorable Domikanini and I think the majority leader, supported it amazingly. So to suddenly think that you should throw out the baby with the bathwater, I think is not the way to go. Honorable, I've forgotten his name, Nkrumah made a point that I thought was disturbing but also profound, which needs to be followed up. That this is nothing new. It's not just about the OSP. It appears that security agencies are being weaponized against citizens. And I think that, therefore, Parliament should be so minded as to take this up. If demand for landed property and certain actions are being taken, which are not fair to the citizen, it should not just be because a friend of a political party is speaking or there's some association affiliation, but let's look at what is going on in our security agencies. There may be a certain aspect that we think ought to be reviewed and dealt with. I think we should address those issues as well.
Very well. Great insights you've provided. Martin, back to you. So you were in that interrogation room, you were arrested, and you asked for bail. Bail conditions were set, landed property, and one surety.
Yes.
I spoke to Bia. Bia said you sent him to the office to pick a document for the landed property. By the time he came, you were whisked away. What happened?
Yes, so when Marcelinus Bia left, about 3-4 minutes later, as soon as Bia left, so
Bia was one of your lawyers?
Yes, and then the lead lawyer is Agbeshi Jakpasu, former bar president, Greater Accra. So what happened was that when they said bring landed property, and we argued and they said no, they will not vary it. Then quickly I told Bia to go and get a landed property document from the office. My office is just, even if you walk, about 10 minutes from OSP. If you drive, far less. So when he went away, then Ablomensa left the room. He came back about 3-4 minutes later to say, look, even if Bia brings the landed property documents, he cannot admit me to bail because he wants to verify it. Kpebu, that I'm always on radio and TV. Can you imagine? He says, no, he wants to verify. I can leave Ghana because of an exchange with a military man.
Around what time was this?
So that's 6:10, 6:20. Exactly. So he said, no, he will not agree. So whilst Bia was away, then Ablomensa told the policeman, the one who had sacked us from the interview earlier, AJ, that he should handcuff me. And true, AJ came, and then I offered my hands. Then they put the handcuff, and then they whisked me into a car. I wasn't even allowed to call my family. And then, we're taking unknown destination, kept going, until I saw that after Ridge roundabout, I saw they were headed. That road they use could lead to BNI headquarters, and then you can also use it to finally access police headquarters. But when we got to BNI headquarters, then they entered. So that means, but when we entered BNI headquarters, even though generally I was in high spirits, I must add that my heart sank a bit because 2 weeks ago, one of my clients told me that the cells there are very hot, very, very warm. The ventilation is poor. So I've been begging Senior Kpebu, Mr. Charles Kpebu, BNI head, that I was about to write to him, but I just got too busy. I told the client I'll write to Mr. Charles Kpebu that we beg. The way the people are complaining about the cells in the headquarters, they should improve the ventilation. That the windows.
Did you know you were going to be the next customer?
Oh, but I was lucky. And you see, and thank God that I told the client that I would write.
Work quick.
But I was lucky. When they did, maybe it's full or something, then they took me to Kawukudi. So they did the bookings in the head office. You enter a certain room, do bookings, and then they took me to Kawukudi. Left-hand side. Yeah, so you go about maybe another 300-400. From headquarters to Kawukudi is over a mile. Kawukudi is near Nima. So they took me there. We entered. Then took me out, took off the handcuffs, and then started processing me, process me. Oh, BNI, they were gentle there. And then, long story short, eventually, I saw them reprocessing and processing. They didn't do well. The only side I'm not happy with the BNI officers is that when word came that they should release me and they started processing me to now discharge me, they should have told me that, oh, Kpebu, we are working on your papers to let you leave. I guess the processing took over 20 minutes. All this while, you know, I was looking into their faces for cues. Whenever a call came, yeah, because I was expecting that I would be released. Because no, it was the height of illegality that Kisi Ejabin thinks he can use OSP, the police powers, to muscle me. How? Ghana, is it for Kisi Ejabin alone? You allow Oforiatta to flee when there are 5 cases on Oforiatta said, you don't know this constitutional imperative, sovereignty of the people. Assuming state institutions are frustrating you, blow the whistle, do a press conference, issue a presser. The Oforiatta is about to flee citizens and I'm not getting cooperation. We would have gone to the airport. I would have been number 1 to go park there, then rally Ghanaians. It's all part of the noise so that whatever has to be done to make sure that Oforiatta is arrested and admitted to bail before he goes. I cannot say if doctors check Oforiatta and they say, look, we cannot take care of Oforiatta in Ghana, he must be in America, he must go. But subject to giving us bail. Just like you see my offense, I have now given him my landed property. So that's this simple thing. He knows how to ask me for landed property, and he didn't know how to ask Oforiatta for landed property before Oforiatta left.
So a whole lot of your case is built on the fact that the OSP, the OSP, the SP, led,
the SP.
I mean, there's the office or the
no. So Kisi personally, aided by Sami Darko,
but it's the office that, in your view, did not work hard to get Oforiatta before he left.
Absolutely.
But Oforiatta informed the regime that he was leaving.
Absolutely. And Kisi said he intercepted a letter. He got a copy. And then he said, well, we watched him leave. We were powerless. So when your special prosecutor doesn't understand the principle of sovereignty in the preamble, Article 1, Article 35, Article 125, sovereignty resides in the people of Ghana. So if anybody frustrates you, come and blow the whistle. Tell the people that Esimesi Senor Hosi is frustrating me. Enoch Afoakwa is frustrating me. That's what Martin Amidu did when Akufo-Addo started interfering in his work. And you see, then the badge of mother serpent of corruption stuck. Kisi doesn't know this, and you think you have a special prosecutor. He must leave. That's crass incompetence. Put it simply, policeman. Remember, Mr. Afoakwa referred to Section 28 of the law, the arresting power. So for that purpose, Kisi, you're a policeman. So a policeman, your suspect is running. You cannot shout, people of Ghana, come and help me. This suspect is running. Oh, this suspect is running. Coupled with the 1,000 lies Kisi are being told. Look, earlier on, Sami Darko came and said that at the time Oforiatta was leaving, he didn't know there was any case pending against him. Subsequently, Kisi Ejabin goes to grant an interview and says that, oh, they started investigations in 2023. Remember, Manasseh and Co. presented a petition on 18th of December, or is it 23rd? One of it. 18th of December or 23rd of December 2023. And said they started working on it. Have you seen the diary of action? The diary of action shows that they started working on it on this year. I mean, in this year, after Oforiatta had left. Have you seen the diary of action? Do you want us to go? 29th January this year. Do you want? We can project it.
Yes, but we will have to do this another time. So, so the point now is, I mean, so you are returning. You return. So you went there on one thing, something else disrupted it.
Yes.
And so there are 2 issues you have now in that office.
Yes.
When are you resuming the real matter for which you went there?
Oh, it has come to an end. Yamutu. Mangana Yamutu.
No, they may invite you again, right?
No, I'm not going to go if it's about the present evidence. There's no law that says I must present my evidence to subordinates. I made that clear to them that day, and the matter was closed. But if they say the board is constituted and the board invites me, I'll go.
So why don't you submit a petition to the president like a 146 procedure?
Yeah, let's use Section 16. That's in there. So, like we were saying, I don't know why they say he's court of appeal, right? That's what the law says. He has terms and conditions of a court of appeal judge. But if you read Section 16, Section 15, they've added many things and made changes. It's not like 146 at all. Yeah. And it looks different. So we'll deal with that later. So, yes, Mr. Adonoo, yes, I'll present a petition this week. I was just waiting, more people, you show it to a few people, get inputs here and there, get more documents. And right now, I've shown you, look, in order to show Ghanaians that I'm not scared, I knew what I was talking. I've sent you 2 documents. Number 1, do you know that when Kisi Ejabin freed Edubuahi, You said, you told the public that he's done nothing wrong. I mean, he's not committed any crime within your jurisdiction. That's the report. Edubuain has not committed a corruption or corruption-related offense. Mangana Yamutu. Then subsequently, 3rd of November, you write to him, I've sent you the letter, that bring me the $40,000 cash. Bring me the $40,000 cash. After telling Ghanaians that he has not committed an offense. What's your mandate to collect $40,000? He will explain. Number 2, this MP Kingsley Ajiman, he used to be in charge of scholarship secretariat. What happened is that he employed some people or engaged some people to do a smear campaign against Atachia. So long story short, so that if that campaign was done, he would give the lead person 2 scholarships. I have the statement here. I've sent to Selorm. So I'll send to you guys. You can read it and see. And there are audios. So that Kingsley Ajiman, public officer, hey, okay, Mr. Afoakwa, go and do this smear campaign. Say Atachia is corrupt, blah, 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 so that he can increase my chances of beating him in the primaries. And eventually, yes, Atachia didn't contest. But of course, you know this smear campaign would have also contributed. But the key thing is, so corruption against Kingsley Ajiman, reported to OSP, investigators finished their thing, their side. They've interviewed the people and they've seen prima facie. You know, even police do prima facie before the case gets to court. So there's enough to show that Kingsley Ajiman must be arrested. And remember, when we say arrested, it doesn't mean keep him in jail. Custody. Sure. It's just the arrest so that he should write his statement. Just that one they were going to do. Kisi Jabin stepped in and said Kingsley Ajiman is his friend. So Makesi Edu, the OSP lead investigator, should stop.
He said it was his friend, and
his
you have
friend.
That on record.
And I said, he's sued. You see the court papers. So we'll be going. He should come and testify. He against Edu, and we'll look at everything. Even if Edu, Kingsley is not his friend, if assuming he denies, they will look at all the circumstances. They will look at the evidence. The one who did the work has admitted that I did it for Kingsley Ajiman, MP now, in order for me to be given 2 scholarships. That's an allegation of corruption. It's in writing. And the guys repeated it orally. I have audios. So it's not a joking matter. So Kingsley is to be brought in. His side will also be taken in, blah, blah. This, Kisi Jabin says, is my friend. If you do it, it will affect Kingsley's chances in the elections.
But in wrapping up, I mean, Kisi, you had praised on many occasions.
Yes.
I mean, during the NDA matter,
yes,
and how he was handling it and all
yes,
of that. What changed? And what
at
has
that
changed
time, I hadn't seen the dossier, the full dossier. I'd had snipers that, look, Kisi is a double agent. But you know, I'm a lawyer. I have to deal with hard evidence. So the NDA matter, you see that, like you're saying, until 20th of October, sometimes you overall are also supporting him. Though on certain occasions, I'll come and disagree. In the NDA matter, there's this lady called Clara Tia Napaga Sulemana. Yeah. Ekufuado's friend. Because of that connection with Ekufuado, Kisi didn't add her. Meanwhile, when Howard Kumson's ministry was taken from her, Clara Tia Napaga Sulemana was the coordinator of the Special Projects Initiatives, what Howard Kumson was minister over. So she was the boss. She approved the documentation for that money to be paid. NDA. How do you exonerate the boss? What boss will just take anything you bring, you just sign? And under causing financial loss and those other things, if you just sign anyhow, you can be held liable. Yeah, Kisi took Clara Tia Napaga out because of her relationship with Ekufuado. Then there were the other officers, Henry, then the director of budget, etc. So later I complained. So those were the signs that Kisi is not straight. He's playing games with us. And now you can say, right? He has discriminating selective justice. And other things. Martin Amidu wrote about corruption. I raised it. Kisi called, Martin, don't mind Amidu. You know the nepotistic appointment. Sami Daku's brother is in OSP, etc. When we open that dossier, you see.
Very well. So, I mean, we have to end here. Thanks so much for the extension of time, Martin.